So I'm going to summarize this for you, the entire meetup right now in about 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to try. So many people said so many amazing things. Okay, so the first question that we had was, what is a good conversation? And so people said a good conversation when you're open and when you're learning, when you're open to change, when you respect the other person, when you see the cues, what the other person is giving you, that you are really interested in the other person. You get on their level. You use your feelings, your intuition to listen. See, these are all points about listening. You accurately interpret what they are, what is behind their words, use the body language, use the tone. You minimize understanding. You're not talking at them. You use follow-up question to engender what they are saying. So these are all kind of listening techniques, part of the good conversation. And speaking techniques, we didn't get into that much, but you have to be clear. You have to not just talk what you had, but use the listening as a way to shape what you're saying. You have to be articulate. You have to have humility. You have to be logical. You have to be objective, pointing to something that is out there that they can see instead of just what is in your head. The result of it is fluidity. This is the result of bringing both of these together, this fluidity. Learning about different contexts of people that you've never imagined before. It's a shortcut to knowing about the world, because each person brings their different context. It is amazing when there is a common context in which you can build, and it is even more amazing that on this common context there is differences, so you can learn something new. It is always good when it is a win-win conversation. It is a search. There is a search for truth. It is good when you're very attuned to the proper timing and you handle transitions very well, and you manage emotions as they are going by. So this was the answers, all the answers to the first question. This was about first 16 to 18 minutes of the tape. The next question was, why? What does good conversation do for you? What value does it deliver? From the listening point, it was to know others. It is to actually know yourself, because it allows you to place the file of the other person next to you. So you'll notice things about yourself that you never noticed before. You notice your own reactions. It increases your openness to others. Disagreements actually can give you a much greater value, especially with people who care about you and they disagree with you. It will point to something that you would not have gotten to yourself. In order to get all of this, you have to actually accept people, accept who they are as a starting point. You have to overcome your limitations. You have to have a purpose in mind. This is all about now speaking. You have to know why you're engaging in a conversation. You need to prepare yourself. You have to plan. You have to understand what the context of the conversation is, and what is the result of it. Is that you actually, when you engage in great conversations, you increase your love of other people. You get energy. You get validity for who you are. You feel more alive. There is a sense of flow. You lose track of time. It's a way of pursuing wisdom. But for that, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be open. Authenticity is the name of the game. If you're not authentic in conversation, you don't get anything. The result of it is a mutual connection. It's the deep connection between two beings. What you get is understanding, joy. It opens possibilities. It is incredibly enriching. That's why people said that they wanted to engage in conversation. That was up to about 45. The third question is that imagine if everybody really cared about good conversation and was good at it. What would world look like if that was the case? People said it would be a joyous culture. It would be a lot of fun. People started actually by saying that if that is the case, then everybody would feel free to be who they are. They would come up with win-win arrangements with each other. There would be a level of trust. There would be no cause for fights and war because people would have actually rational back and forth and find that they actually agree on more things. There'd be less speaking at people because there would be this understanding. There would be greater mindfulness, greater intentionality. You would actually value people. You would laugh more. You would accept each other more. You would be focused more on values and virtues underlying people. Disagreements would be more productive rather than destructive. There'd be a mutual trust between people. People would take time to understand each other, not do snap judgments, be more compassionate. And good people would speak more rather than keeping quiet as they mostly do now. These are some of the results of what would happen if everybody cared about good conversation and was good at it. Last question, which starts around 60-minute mark, was about, so what can you do to have a better conversation? These are various things people said. Firstly, you cut out sarcasm, make disagreements productive, engage in diplomacy, try to have a model of what the other person is doing, deal with uncertainty, be fact-based instead of just talking about your opinions or feelings, be fact-based, use principles of what you're going to do, be present, think more before you speak, listen. That was the biggest thing. Use conversation starters. Be alive to cues that people are giving you, verbal or subverbal. Use the technique of repeating back when you hear something somebody is saying. Repeat back to them. Ask them, did I get what you're saying? Then ask them to say, can you say more about it? Invite them to speak more. Use some stock responses. Have I explained myself clearly? What would you like me to do? So just see what their intentions are. These are some of the things that people said, okay? So it was an incredible meetup. So what I'm going to do is that this is my quick, I've just read the notes. I didn't think it was fairly short, 5 minutes. So this is what it was about. So I'm telling you, it was an incredible conversation. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to organize this. Currently, it is not organized. So I'm going to organize all of this and see the picture that emerges. And the big questions that we are going to ask are, what makes a good conversation work? How should you listen? How should you speak? And how do you apply these conversation principles to different contexts? How does it apply to one-on-one conversation? How does it apply to small groups of, like, say, 3 or 4 people? How does it apply to a large group like this? How does it apply in a business context? How does it apply to strangers? How does it apply to friends and family? So those are the questions. So we're going to take all of this for granted. So I firstly encourage you to attend if you can. Otherwise, watch the video. The Sunday meetup at Sunday at 9 o'clock. If you're coming to the meetup, please, if you can, watch this video. It's one of the best videos that we've done, best meetups. So that was my take. Now, what do you guys think?